world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Thanks for listening to No Question About That. You can support this show by visiting patreon.com/NQATpod or in your Apple podcast feed. We do a backer show each week going deep dive into a topic related to United. Or if you don't want to part with your cash, an even better way is to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And now on with the show. Welcome to No Question About That. This is the weekend pod with me, Ed, and him, Daniel Harris. We're talking about Spurs 2, United 2. How do we feel about this one, Dan? Because another late comeback, but a bit of an uneven performance.
I did not like this performance, really, at any point, really. On the plus side, my wife's just gone out, so I've turned the heating off. And this is the second time I've managed to achieve this today, and that always makes me feel good. But no, I didn't like the team that was picked, and I didn't like most of what they did on the pitch either. But we came back to get a point, and you keep the momentum of unbeatenness going, and also you can see that the mentality and I guess like the happiness in the squad is probably the best it's been since Ole.
Yeah, they've talked about it, actually. Lenny Yoro was talking about the no negative energy policy. So there's something about the team. I mean, comebacks is good, isn't it? It gives everyone a good feeling. Late goal in the game. You haven't lost. You've made something out of it. Tough away trip. Spurs are... I don't know what to make of Spurs this season. They're not very good, are they? But they've got plenty of points.
They're fucking wank. And that was what was frustrating, is that... Yeah. It was like where you know that they're teetering and just a little push will send them over the edge. And I guess one I wouldn't say I felt necessarily a redeeming feature, but listening to Amorim afterwards, it feels like he at least knows what the issues are as far as they relate to the players. I don't know exactly how much he realises how much of it is his responsibility with regard to selections and substitutions.
Yes.
But just in terms of the players not being too cautious at 1-0, like he's bang on with that, and that's important that they know that. But if we start from the beginning and the team he picked, he's like a crackhead. I really, really thought. I really thought when my niece was sucking her thumb when she was a kid, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were trying to get her to stop. So I don't know if anyone. I mean, I've done the same, but. You lie there when your infant goes to bed so that they can't suck their thumb. And so you hold their hand or you pull the thumb out when he goes in, whatever. And my niece is going, just one more suck. Please, just one more suck.
We've all said that, Daniel.
Yeah. But I thought we'd seen the last of two fullbacks at wingback.
Yeah.
And I don't get why he did it in this game. It didn't seem like they had this overwhelming threat out wide that necessitated two not even that good defenders in those positions. And it made no sense. And the other thing I don't entirely understand, and on the one hand, though, I suppose I'd be reticent to move Mbumo because it's all going pretty well. If I was putting one of our number 10s at centre forward, it would be him because he's got the pace in behind. And I think he's more of a natural goal scorer than Cunha, whereas what Cunha gives you is you want Cunha deeper because he can get the ball, he's press resistant, he can run with it, he can get you up the pitch in a way that Mbumo doesn't. And when it happens, it is always Cunha who plays centre forward. And I don't understand it.
It doesn't work for me. The team selection didn't work. He exactly those two errors. I think every other option other than Sesko up front is suboptimal, because it makes changes in the whole team and then there's no focal point to the attack. I can understand in some games this season it's kind of worked with the false nine where you've been playing against teams that have a lot of possession and you want to try and play in those half spaces. I think we know Cunha's skill set. His skill set is playing in those, half spaces, getting the ball, turning, and running. Right, and he's brilliant at that, and that's when he looks fantastic. And up front, I think throughout his career, especially if he's a bit isolated, it's never quite worked. And then 2 fullbacks, I just don't get it. I mean, we've seen Ahmad. It's just completely transformational for the team. Like it makes United a bit lopsided when you have Ahmad and Mbeumo down the right hand side because the focus is so much there because they're both brilliant.
Right,
but you at least get into attacking spaces.
Yeah, you just fire better left wing back at some point. And the thing with Cunha is he's tried and failed as a centre forward.
Yeah,
he started there and he wasn't fucking good enough in that position. Discovered another one in which he was good enough, and on that point, I also didn't really understand why he was taken off because I think he went off. Did he go off at 1-0? I think he did.
Oh, I forget exactly when. It was around about just after the hour, right?
Yeah, and again, if you're trying to preserve a lead, we've literally maybe he's got a knock. I don't know, but you literally see that he's excellent at helping you preserve those leads. It's not all about box defending. It's about having outballs and players who can relieve the pressure, take it for a walk, win free kicks, and he's by far United's best player at that. So
against Liverpool, all the evidence you need, right? His ability to drop deep, carry the ball. I think he did 5 or 6 times against Liverpool. Just relieve pressure just by giving it to him and letting him take players on. Yeah, I was disappointed with that. And then Mazraoui, right wing back. I just don't understand. He's never going to deliver any attacking output. We've spoken about this before. Amorim seems to think it gives him more security, but actually more security in this team is when you have an extra attacker in the team and you have ball for longer periods of time in attacking positions. It's very odd that we've gone to, you see the team straight away and you're like, oh, that looks like a flat back 5 and a lot of long balls. And that's kind of what it was. And we dropped into, for periods in this game, the kind of passivity that lost us the Europa League final. And that was a bit disappointing. I mean, I'm not freaking out about it. I just think it's kind of recognition of that's kind of the same mistake repeating itself. And the good stuff that's happened recently, Ahmad at right wing back, push a bit further forward, take advantage of the pace and the creativity. And we know what Ahmad can do when he's in forward positions. I mean, saw it create the first goal.
I mean, that's it, isn't it? That it last season you'd be watching it thinking, well, they're pretty shit. So I feel for the manager in terms of trying to make a coherent football team out of these bunch of dickheads. But I don't feel that anymore. I feel there's like a reasonable football team right there. And yesterday he hamstrung them. And I think what you said about long balls, and I guess we'll talk about it more with Darnish and Tactics Pod, is that the last few couple of games, they have been knocking it around more. The problem that they have is they're not good at it. There's not enough tempo. There's not enough wit. There's not enough imagination in the way that they do it. So when we did have the ball in settled possession and we kept it, too often it went backwards. And I think partly that's because we didn't have a centre forward.
Yeah. I was just looking at the number of long balls. I'll get to it during the pod and just what percentage. Because you're right, they played a different game against Forest and Brighton than they had done against Liverpool. Liverpool, I think it was nearly 40% of the passes were long, and against Forest it was more like 15%. So he's mixing it up, and I think that's totally valid to do that. Horses for courses, different kind of approach for different teams, kind of wasted time banging it long against a low block. But we were down at like sub 80% possession, successful passes yesterday. Actually saw one stat today. We are 17th for build-up completion outside of the final third, right? Everyone has poor build-up completion in the final third. It's the most difficult place to complete your build-up for obvious reasons. Outside of that, it gives an indicator of, how good you are at building up, right? 17th we rank. And so it shows the problem, both the approach, so Amorim's mitigation for not really having enough options in midfield, and it is basically just to bypass it and go direct. Or when it gets into midfield, as he said in the press conference before or after last week's game, 1 touch, 2 touch forward. It is a basic approach, but he's trying to solve a problem there. We spoke about it last week. Is this the long-term vision? Because if it is the long-term vision, he'll have a ceiling at United, and that's fine, right? He's got a 2.5-year contract. He builds the team until it's Europe worthy, and then we find someone else. If he has a longer-term vision, then he has to start thinking about how to evolve this team again after this, and this becomes a transitional season from the disaster of last season to something better this season. And we'll see, right? But it has its limitations, this kind of approach.
It does, and it's not just because of the way that he's going about it, but then like the very like specific things that there are. Like, you do watch it and you think, we've got 5 defenders, why can't we keep a clean sheet? And the other thing that I'm kind of wondering about is, let's say that Shea Lacey is as good as they think he is. Are we saying that we can never play more, and it doesn't have to be Shea Lacey, we could never play more than 2 of him, Cunha and Mbeumo, right? Because we've got to play this formation, and there's that not because of Shea Lacey specifically, but I mean, we say it all the time, it's an attacker short, this formation, and if you happen to have more attackers, it feels like there's no scope to do anything different, which is whereas
there isn't.
No, I guess there isn't.
No, there isn't. Oh, you mentioned it, so let's talk about the goals. I mean, United's goal, they've done better in recent games at sustaining attacks, right?
That's exactly what I've got written in my notes.
And I kind of feel like it's important, isn't it? Like, it breaks down first time round, and Mbeumo's first header is not great, or he can't get up. So it comes out to the right side. They sustain the attack. I think it's Bruno plays the ball to Ahmad, who pauses and picks out Mbeumo for the header, right? It's a lovely goal because they haven't broken down first time and Tottenham gone up the other end, which probably would have happened last season. So that's good. Nice piece of skill from Ahmad to pick him out. Fantastic header from Mbeumo, who, by the way, he's already looking like a bargain at 60-odd million. He's going to score a lot of goals this season. He's a real threat all of the time. Yeah,
he might be better than Garnacho.
I think he's probably better than Garnacho. Although Enzo Maresca was bigging up Garnacho after... I mean, Garnacho scored in midweek, didn't he, against Karabag? Was it, or was it last week? I can't remember.
I think he scored twice recently in games in games they haven't won, either of them.
Yeah, Maresca was praising him. I haven't seen enough of him to say whether he's any good this season. It was an odd choice to go to Chelsea if you're going to leave United. But anyway, let's about him.
But on the goals,
Mbeumo is fantastic. Love him already. I think he's a real threat. He's stepped up another level, I think. You know, and the thing is, the frustration about not winning some of these games against crap teams like Spurs is we've got some fucking good players. We've got good players in this team. It's not balanced, clearly. They're not all good. And in 2 years' time, I reckon the team looks probably 10 players different from this squad in 2 years. If you think about composition of age and contracts and stuff like that. So it's going to look different, but we've got good players who can cause real damage.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Año nuevo, los mismos Extra Value Meals en McDonald's. Ahora te puedes llevar 2 snack wraps y papitas y una bebida mediana por solo $8. Solo por tiempo limitado. Precios y participación pueden variar. Los precios pueden ser más altos en Hawaii, Alaska y California y con entrega.
Well, that's it. And this felt like a game that we drew because we've got good players rather than because we're a good team. But the goal is also worth noting that in the move, or not the move, the kind of the action that led to the goal, Cunha turns up in the move twice, once on the left side of the box and once on the right side of the box.
Right.
And men in the box also makes such a difference. As what Spurs didn't have. We literally managed to concede twice against the team that barely looked like they had the fucking clue how to score.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Spurs' equaliser, because that one is absolutely maddening. I mean, they're both maddening for different reasons. I counted them 6 Manchester United players in the box, 1 Spurs player. And there's 3 of them in a line, straight line, can't stop the cross. De Ligt's a bit late to challenge the attacker, and there's 2 behind him. I think one's Ugarte and Dorgu. Come on, like someone, please. Someone get to it. And it's so frustrating because that's not a system problem. They had all the players there, right?
This is the tell one, isn't it? I mean, we do get a little bit of like deflection takes this in totally the other direction. But yeah, this probably was a little bit slow, but also it was a very good first touch and then a deflection.
Yeah.
And it's again like it was a bit like Forest where you're saying, well, you should have done this, you could have done that, but also back randomness of football sort of operative a little bit. And in a way, same with the second goal, because that was like the goal that Sheringham scores when we draw 2-2 with Leicester on the first day of 98-99, the United's first goal, where there's a shot from outside the box and he redirects it with a header.
Yeah.
And again, you can't save that.
No, I no blame on the keeper. Ugarte is extremely late getting out. Did he stumble? Did he lose his footing? What? He's so late. He's just nowhere near the line at all.
I mean, he seems to keep coming on because Casemiro can't do 90 minutes,
and then it just goes to shit every single time.
Every time. Liverpool, he gets sent off Casemiro against Chelsea. It goes to shit. Doesn't play the next game, but then it goes to shit in the subsequent games when he goes off. And yeah, I mean, we need to find the solution for that, really. But
it's going to be in the market because I don't think there's anything in the squad.
There's no, as Wenger like to say, internal solutions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Seiko Kone got that eye injury, so I don't think he's played since August or something. So I guess there's a lot of eyes on him.
He's back now. Came back last week. But right, I mean, I was told that he's someone inside the club they think is proper, but he's not that young. So that if it's going to happen
soon,
it probably should be soon. It was Jack Fletcher who got the kind of token. United had a youth team player in their squad every match. I
was going to bring that up. Yeah, can we do a little sidebar on that? Because Amorim was asked about it, and he said we can't break that record. We won't break that record. It's important to the club. But what's the record worth if it's a token player on the bench? And look, Jack Fletcher's doing well, and Amorim said he's ready. Maybe not. And he's a good player. Both him and his brother's been tried in a few different positions. Is he ready? It's hard to say exactly. So was he there on merit, or was he there because Kobbie Mainoo, the other token youth player on the bench who never gets any games, wasn't fit?
I mean, that is slightly different, I guess. But yeah, it was probably kind of interesting. It was Jack Fletcher as well, because I think that position is more sort of Tyler Fletcher, and the one who, from what I've seen, looks most likely to make it is Jim Thwaites.
Oh God, I love watching Jim Thwaites. I mean, I couldn't tell you whether he's ready for the prime time or not, because playing under 21s, you get a lot more space.
No, or ever will be.
He might not. Who knows? But his first touch, his range of passing, his movement is. He's like, you squint and you're like, wait, there is that Paul Scholes again.
Yeah, he looks the best of them at that level, but it doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah, for sure. There's been plenty of best of in Manchester United youth teams over the last 100 years or whatever who haven't quite made it.
But on the subject of, like, we're talking about Ugarte earlier and bringing him on, that's what led us to here.
Yeah.
The substitutions. So there's part of me going, how can these dickheads be tired? And that's not me saying that football is not extremely difficult. It is. But they're playing
once a week.
They're playing once a week, and they're playing a team that played midweek. Mm-hmm. So are we saying that the style is exhausting because the midfielders have got to run around like lunatics?
I don't even believe that.
Well, got to run like lunatics, and the defenders, the centre-backs, the outside centre-backs have got to defend the channel and jump into challenges in midfield. So are we saying that that's why, that they all have to work much harder?
I don't actually believe it, right? And there's 2 pieces of data that tell me they do. Well, the 3 pieces you'd look for on that. One is total kilometres run, and I don't think United are at the top of the table of that. They don't always release all the data. When I've tried to look for it before, it hasn't shown me that Amorim's team's at the top of that. The third is number of sprints, and the other is passes per defensive action, so how intense United are way off on passes per defensive action this season. It's dropped from like 9 to 17. So United much less, like it's less aggressive in the press. They press in the mid block rather than high up the pitch. I don't think they're burning themselves out. I think this is just an Amorim team thing. He likes to change things up. He does it in most games now. I mean, he did it so early in this game that we ended up finishing the game with 10 men. And after how many injuries? 2 injuries. There's Harrance hobbling around and Benjamin Sesko, which is a really worrying one because he's our only option, as we've spoken about at striker, and it looks like a knee injury.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't look bad when he did it. Even one of those innocuous knee injuries, where someone lands awkwardly and jars their knee, and it doesn't look bad, but you kind of can see it and know it is, or the player's in ridiculous pain. It didn't look like that, but Amorim didn't seem very pleased about it, did he?
No, and it's yes, you're right. It didn't look like a ligament snap, but if there's ligament damage, it's weeks or months, not days. It is the international break, so hopefully he just jarred it a little bit.
There were reports I read from Slovenia. Don't know how reliable they are, that say it should be. It's not too bad. So
okay, touch wood.
Let's hope. But I guess one of the good things about that performance is this goalkeeper. He makes 2 saves, really, 2 proper saves. The first one
with his foot.
Yeah, I thought that fucker was in. Like, I mean, in my mind, like, I'm already like, right, whose fucking fault was that? But the first one I thought was in. That was a fucking fantastic save. It was from so close, and it came in so quickly. But in a way, it was actually almost the second one that pleased me more, because although like Binder and Onana weren't full of brilliant saves, you stick any dickhead in goal, they will make an occasional miracle save. But the other one is a save he should make. But what does he do? He parries it outside the danger zone. It's like, long time no see. Oh, hello, old friend. Wow.
Strong hand and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like getting the ball out of danger. And it's... Yeah, it's been a long time.
He's made so few mistakes. I mean, people kind of picked holes in the free kick he conceded because he went kind of central. Did he move too far to the left?
Us.
Us.
We asked the question. We weren't sure. It just...
Yeah, I know.
It looked bad, but it didn't look bad on the first viewing, that one that goes... But when you slow it down, you can't see how quick the ball's going. Obviously, you're saying, how's he not stopped that? But even if that was his fault, the extent of the upgrade is monumental. I
mean, all the data showed how many saves he made last season. It was way ahead of the second place for the number of saves. He just looks very competent. He likes catching a ball. He doesn't flap at anything. Can you remember a time he's flapped at a ball at all so far? I don't think so. He just comes out and takes it.
Sometimes we haven't seen when he's had to punch. He's punched. He's
punched when he has to. It's hard to say with his passing because they've launched it. He launches it 40-something% of the time. That's clearly tactical. That's instruction, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really know whether he's got another range of passing or not because he's just banging it long all the time. Fine, I guess. At some point, we may want to actually do some build-up. We're the anti-press baiting team at the moment. It's full-on 1980s style. But he just does everything competent. And he doesn't seem flappable either. That first one that kind of rolled under his foot really early in the game, he clearly wasn't switched on early enough. He rolls under his foot. I mean, if it had been in front of goal, it would have been very embarrassing. But he didn't seem to...
That Paul Robinson one, Gary Neville, Paul Robinson, where you've got Borat on the advertising, as he does it.
Brilliant when the keeper does that, but it can destroy keepers. He didn't seem to lose confidence from that at all. He just seems totally unflappable. That's the reports inside as well. He's very chill about things. They appear to have got it right. And Jason Wilcox was talking in midweek how Tony Coton had been nagging him for more than a year about this player. Who knows? That might just be propaganda. Look how clever we are, sort of thing.
But
they seem to have got the right one.
In one of those old football magazines, I think it was the Match of the Day magazine, didn't last very long, there was a story about Tony Coton. And I can't remember how it starts. I think it might be when he was at Birmingham. He plays in this legendarily hard team, Birmingham team, that has Noel Blake, Mark Dennis. Can't remember who else is in it, but someone's written a book about this team because it was just like full of thuggery. And they're out at some point. Someone taps him on the shoulder and says, "Oh, are you that cunt Tony Coton?" It said. And Coton says, agrees that yes, he is Tony Coton, but no, he isn't a cunt. And he nuts and sticks the nut on the guy. Something like that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Mark Dennis, fucking hell. He was a nutter as well, wasn't he? Proper. Very good. Yeah, no, I think we've got a good one there. And it shows what you can do if you have a football structure and you go off and find players that aren't just the headline. So £20 million looks like a really good deal at the moment.
Oh, Mick Harford. Obviously, Mick Harford was in that
Mick
team
Harford
as well.
was in that team as well. Legendary. Both legendary drinker and hard man. Yeah.
And I think what happens is he then flies through the air and like lands a diving header on someone, something like that.
If you like football nostalgia, I don't know whether you follow, I think the account's called Sky Strikers on Twitter, and he scans something like 4,500 football magazines. Yeah. It's kind of nice nostalgia. It isn't stories quite like that, but it's good for fans of 80s football.
But yeah, I do like this goalkeeper, and he should improve.
Yeah.
Why do we think Harrods played in this game?
Yeah, and that's the other one I had meant to bring up. When Maguire and De Ligt play together. Oh, by the way, Daniel, I should you got a bit of flack in the comments, mainly on Spotify comments. Funny that crowd are very critical for calling him Donkey De Ligt, which, by the way, you did laugh at afterwards.
Joking.
It was a joke. I know it was a joke. People take it all too seriously, but he's had props to. He's had a good season. He's played every single minute, and he's pretty consistent. He's not the perfect central defender because his range of passing is not awesome, and I don't like him in those wide areas because that's where he'll get turned more quickly. But yes, I think he does that when he's worried about the physicality of the other side. And I don't know, are Spurs big? I'm not really sure about that. So, he plays Mazraoui there rather than Diallo.
Yeah, just
and
make
then
like
De Ligt. And suddenly it's a massive downgrade in terms of our ability to build up down that right-hand side.
I didn't understand the selection at all. You're saying, I mean, Spurs were on their arse until they play a shit team in the Champions League, but so they give themselves a bit of confidence. But it's all very well when you see the manager saying that we were cautious in our approach and didn't get after them when we should have done. But the message he sent them was, I don't trust you guys to go and properly attack these fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, 0.05 XG from one shot Spurs had against Chelsea. So they didn't have much in this game until the changes. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you see that, you know that there's likely to be a reaction because they were so roundly criticised for their behaviour in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't until Odegaard came on. They didn't have a clue what to do, and that was
Wilson Odegaard. Yeah, he made a big difference actually. Running with the ball makes things happen. I mean, you look at Spurs' side, and there are some good players in there. There's so many of them are uneven. Brennan Johnson was having a mare. Everything was going wrong for him.
Brennan.
Romero probably could have got sent off because he laid one on a few players.
Maybe his dad named him after Ipswich legends Mark Brennan. I don't know.
You reckon? Yeah.
But it's quite a strange name, isn't it?
For a first name, it's quite a strange name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what is a strange name? I don't know. Daniel Harris, is that a strange name? What's your middle name, Daniel?
Lawrence,
Larry.
I've never I think have we not done? I'm sure we.
I think we might talked about Larry before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never got really to the bottom of it. As in, if I hadn't have been called Daniel, my parents wouldn't have called me Lawrence with a W, not with a silent W at the beginning, LAW. But for some reason, I got it as a middle name, and I don't know why. And I've never got a straight answer out of my parents as to what first attracted them to the name Lawrence. I don't know.
I can't remember whether I told this story. My middle name's Stuart, Stuart. Not a great name.
Sorry to all the Stuarts out there.
Well, yeah. Scottish roots? No, I don't think so. My dad, in his will, spelt it wrong. Stewart. Maybe he's a fan of the golfer. Who knows? Thanks, Dad.
Stewart. I remember when I got my first Panini sticker album, I was telling my dad that I needed Ian Stewart to complete my QPR team.
Very good.
Yeah.
I haven't done sticker album for a while. Well, I did. There's are they called Hefty Schluti? It's like an artist collective do one for every tournament. So I've done that with the kids for the last few years and have artists draw the players rather than Panini stickers. It's always kind of a nice collector's item so I think I've had that since Russia 2018.
Yeah.
But haven't done Panini for years.
I guess I did Panini 85, 86, 87, 88 probably. I've got them somewhere completed.
Those are the pure years for Panini, aren't they? Have you downloaded a copy of the latest Football Manager? Are you diving into that one like everyone else on the internet?
I don't. I'm not a gamer at all. I played a lot of Tetris and a lot of Lemmings and not that much else as a kid. A lot of GoldenEye. I first went to university and
I remember that one.
Didn't have any mates and didn't like most of the people I met in the first year. So, but someone had bought me a Nintendo 64, so I had GoldenEye. So that was that and United winning the treble with my friends, basically. And I played a lot of Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, it's classic. Well, you still play that one. That's still available. That one. Yeah, my kids don't like football and they play games. It's very worrying. I don't know what I've done wrong since my own personal life is dominated by thinking about football, talking about football, editing pods about football, watching football.
So I think with
me,
happened
underpants whatever.
To me as well. And I think really what happened was my daughter didn't need to like football because she didn't need any of my time because she got enough of it already. So she didn't have to pretend to like football to spend time with me or whatever. She was able to deliberately not like football to piss me off.
That's it. I should have ignored them more. Maybe they'll be desperate for my. No, they won't be because they'll just be on the Xbox.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Where do United go from here? Because it's 2 games in a row which were a bit uneven after 3 victories on the bounce. We've got the international break. We come back and we've got quite a good run.
Yeah,
in there, it's like Everton, Burnley, and Wolves, and a bunch of shite, basically. And you're like, okay, you could go on a good run again, but it's hard to say what you're going to get out of this team week to week.
Yeah, I think so. The problem is still, we're not that good at scoring goals, and we're not that good at stopping other teams scoring against us.
Can be a problem in football, yeah.
Yeah, and we're seeing improvements in our ability. We're still better at both than we were last year because the players are better or playing better. Hopefully we have Martinez back soon and that makes a difference. But if we don't sign anyone in January and
I should take the risk on this one. They should do. Because it's so tight from 3rd to 10th in terms of the points and also quality, I think. A lot of teams with a lot of flaws in there. The opportunity of European football is there to grab. And the cost of not getting it is much bigger than the cost of buying a player. Much bigger. Champions League, for example. If you thought it was possible, and if you're buying one player, Daniel, you don't have to name him, but you got 50 million quid to spend, say. Right? United can do it. PSR is not a problem right now. Cash is a problem, but we can borrow. You go and dump 50 million, or let's say 60 on 2 or 50 on 1 or whatever. How do you prioritise? What do you go for? A wing back first, or
if you're only giving me 50 million, I'm probably spending it on a wing back because I think for 50 million you should be able to get the wing back you need, and I don't think that necessarily gets you the midfielder you need.
Well, it doesn't get you if you take reports at face value of United's priorities in central midfield. Anderson, Baleba, Wharton, or Stiller. Or Stiller would be the cheapest.
And Stiller, I can't really talk about Stiller like I've seen him play very much because I haven't.
I've seen him a bit. I wouldn't say he's a natural transition to the Premier League.
He's not an athlete.
He's not. No, he's a beautiful range of passing, and he's a kind of Wharton alternative.
Or
I would
Kroos,
say if you want to,
Tony Kroos kind of player.
Yeah,
but Tony Kroos worked because He played with Modric
athletes around him,
and then he also had Casemiro.
Yeah,
and I'm not exactly sure how this works really. If we were to try and sign Stiller, that just feels Stiller and Wharton seem unlikely. They don't seem the profile that Amorim would want. Elliot Anderson seems sort of perfect for what the manager wants, but he's going to cost double the 50 million you just granted me.
Well, and we saw what Marinakis does when he doesn't want to sell a player. I mean, God knows what kind of threats that Morgan Gibbs White's family got. So you may come on our yacht and have a visit with concrete boots. Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle are a bit uneven. Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, City. I mean, and the City game is in mid-January. I know you can't really look at fixtures like this, especially with this United side, who are probably more set up to play better teams. But that is a run of fixtures after a really difficult start to the season that you'd look at and say, yeah, we should be able to get quite a few points out of it.
If we could,
in theory.
Yeah, and I think like the way the league is sort of shaking out now, it feels like the Champions League is not impossible, but we're probably playing for one spot. That Arsenal, City, and Liverpool will be the top three.
Yeah, and Chelsea, and I mean they're picking up in lots of points, right?
Chelsea. I mean,
they're still picking up points.
No, but if we win the games we should, and we keep improving, we should finish above Chelsea. I'm not saying we will.
There's the opportunity is there. Yeah, I can't tell whether United are a 6th to 9th place type team or a 4th to 6th place type team. But we side this on talking about the window. That's the opportunity right there. And chasing often in January, you go, well, it's not worth it. There are no players available, and it's not transformational enough. You bring someone from another league in, they need time to adjust.
But then that's fine because then they're ready to go next season. So I'm not worried about that.
But it's also it's that European place. It's so important. It's worth it. And none of these teams that I mentioned are playing well at the moment, really.
And I mean, I don't know who the wing back would be if you gave me 50 million. I mean, I guess the most obviously ideal selection. I mean, like Nuno Mendes is arguing with Paris about money, but I can't believe we'd be allowed to do that. Federico Di Marco at Inter, I think, is negotiating for a new contract. And then if you look a bit further, like Coyote, Brentford, I don't know if he's got enough going forward to be a wing back in this system. But I mean, and also he's mainly plays on the right, but he's a good player.
I don't have the answer myself. And again, internal solutions. Tyler Fletcher's played there a couple of times. Bendito Mantato has kind of been moved over to the left this season. He's very young, though. He's surely not ready. Diego Leon, he seems to be progressing from what I've seen. Feels a bit too early. Harry Amas scored a really good goal yesterday for Wednesday. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did. He's doing nicely, apparently.
Yeah.
So, and also then it I guess it depends in that if they think that Harry Amas is good enough to play for United, then maybe you don't get a left wing back. But on that point, what did you think of Dorgu yesterday?
What do I think of Dorgu? He has 1 assist in 33 games, is what I think of Dorgu. I like the positions he gets into.
That's it, isn't it? I've written in my notes where moves go to die.
Yeah, and then
so
after that, there's just not much. Yeah.
Because there were points yesterday, I thought, where he was playing quite well. He was getting involved in the game. He was carrying the ball. But every time, almost, he was actually involved in the goal. Like, he puts in quite a decent cross, and then we box him and get the goal. But that aside, just so many good positions and so little to show for it. And it feels like he's got all the full gamut of fuck-ups, like heavy touches, poor decisions, overhit crosses. Yeah, just he's got it all going on. And it's getting to a point where I'm really struggling not to say to myself, is this guy a bit shit? And the reason, and that is, because on the other hand, I'm also saying, but some of the raw materials are there.
Yeah. I guess the worrying thing is there's been no improvement. So we've had a year of him almost now. Would we have liked to have seen a few more signs of the quality in the final third improving? I think so.
If when we bought him, we knew that the year he was going to have would be this year, would we be saying, is there anyone else? And I know I would.
Yeah. Yeah, I am so reluctant just to shit on him for the sake of it because he's a young player coming from Italy, very different style of football. But the output is just zero. Oh, on the other hand, he defended quite well yesterday. I don't think you could really say he did anything wrong defensively. So
He did, but yeah, not that much. They almost score in the first half. Like their best chance in the first half comes from him selling himself to Johnson.
Mm.
But yeah, he yesterday felt like one of his better performances. At the same time, it was still quite a long way away from what is required.
Mm.
And I mean, I want him to succeed, as you say. Like, I don't want to give this guy aggravation, but I'm not full of hope for what he's going to develop into.
Well, and another way of thinking about this, if you were building a European contention side, you definitely want more than one option. If we're saying Luke Shaw is not an option there because his body will break down if he has to run that much, which may well be true, right? Because otherwise, why wouldn't they have tried it? You've got Aidan Heaven there, who's a quality young player. He could play on the left side of that defence, or Harrance could play there, if you want. He's played plenty on the
I don't
left
think they're
side
ever leaving Harrance to defend the channel.
No, true. But there are options, right? And there will be when Martinez comes back. So it appears he's reluctant to do that, and it may well be a sports science thing that they've said, he just cannot do that much running, Luke Shaw, because otherwise you would try it there because the quality in the final third is just a major improvement. So if you were building a top side, you would not rely on a key position in this particular system, a very key specialist position, in which we're not seeing it much because we're going very, very direct, but in which Sporting's success was very much built around building those wide overloads with the left centre-back, the left wing-back, and the inside left forward, left number 10. And we talked about Cunha's quality, but he's not getting the support he needs from that left wing-back in order to build the kind of dynamic attacking positions and overloads that you'd want, right? So if you're building top side, you'd have more than one option, and you wouldn't let a young player hung out to dry, right? Which we've done a few times now in trying to build this squad, and you'd have another option there. And our other options are all young, right? Diego Leon come from Paraguay.
Yeah.
And in his first year in England, you can't expect him to suddenly be brilliant. That would just be totally unfair. And so there is not another option, and it would be sensible to do that. I don't know who the name is, though.
No, me neither. But yeah, you do have to, with your signings, take care as to what's coming behind. Do they think that Dorgu's going to become something, or Diego Leon or Harry Amas? There's three of them. But Harry Amas looks to have the most going forward of the three, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's very, very comfortable in those final third positions. I mean, the word inside the club was that he was struggling a bit physically.
Yeah. He's a bit slight.
Yeah, he is slight, but, a bit of time in the gym. I was a bit worried about the move to Sheffield Wednesday just because of the chaos there. You had Daniel Rolfe leave, and obviously Chansiri was trying to run the club into the ground. The ownership situation is not quite resolved, but there are apparently bids on the table. We talked about it last week. They've removed Chansiri's name from the stadium, which was quite funny. And they did a funny video. The administrators, I don't know which admin has decided to do that, but maybe it's not a totally chaotic team to get into. They are struggling. They don't have enough quality in that squad. They are likely to go down, especially with the points deduction. So, but touch wood, because bad loans can waste a year of a player's development time. And so I was a little bit worried about that, but he appears to be doing well. Not that I'm watching Wednesday every week. So one thing Amorim said after the game, before we close out, has kind of been picked up. He talked about Bruno Fernandes, and he said next season with European football, we'll have a lot of games. Bruno may have to accept that he'll be rotated more often. He was asked about how Bruno plays. He did say that. It's been kind of framed, which is not what I think he meant. It's kind of reframed as warning to Bruno, you're going to get rotated and dropped more often next season. I don't think that's what he meant, actually. I think it's just more like he's getting older. The whole squad will have to think about the number of minutes. And if you look about the number of minutes Bruno's played over the last 5 seasons, I think it's more than anyone else in Europe. He plays an incredible amount of football. He missed a Grimsby game this season. I think it's 8 minutes. Aside from that, he was subbed twice late in games, and that is it. So he's going to play a lot of football this season. Does next season, assuming he stays, he's got the contract. Does that mean if we buy 2 midfielders that he comes in and out of the side, perhaps misses a few of the lesser games? Who knows? I mean, I guess you start thinking about that when a player hits. He's 31 now, so.
But showing no signs of slowing down at all.
None at all. It's amazing, really. If you think about the number of minutes, if I think Carl Anker wrote for the Athletic a piece a while back, like analysing the number of minutes, and number of minutes played in a career is a better indicator than age of deterioration.
Yeah. Look at Robbie Roon's the best example of that. And I mean, Giggs, who went on till he was 38, missed a lot of games early in his career with hamstring situations.
True.
Probably contributed to his longevity at the end. I mean, also he had like the perfect footballer's build, or the perfect athlete's build, let's say, in a way that Roon didn't.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. United have to go out and spend that money. I would be incredibly shocked if United get one of those central midfielders we mentioned this winter. Maybe a loan. Who knows? Have we stopped the era of weird loans in the middle of the season? Sabitzer, Amrabat,
Igalo.
Oh God, Igalo.
Amrabat was a summer one, I think. But
a summer one, yeah, that's right. Signed him as midfielder, played him left back. Top stuff. All right, I think we've talked enough. Run out of things to say. 2-2 against Spurs. I guess, on the face of it, not a disaster, not a brilliant performance. So we'll be back in midweek with a mailbag pod, I think. And look out for the tactics pod after this. Thank you very much. Check us out, patreon.com/NQAT pod. And watch us on YouTube if you're not already.
Annihilate the subscribe button.
Like and smash. Yeah. Actually, the subscribe button is really important. So we don't have to keep getting a new audience every week. Thanks a lot, Daniel. Thanks a lot, listeners.
Thank you, guys.